Good morning everyone and welcome back to a brand new video of Fox Flicks on PopCross Studios. Today we are here to check out as he turns dinosaurs into Biunites. Let's hop in and see which fossil gets resurrected.
This video is brought to you by my
enough.
brand new Gone Grim color variant art book. More on that later in the video. In today's episode, which is the second last chapter of my ongoing series, The Book of Biunites, I'm going to be taking some dinosaurs and turning them into my original creatures called Biunites. Now, if you're new to this series, I'd recommend starting from the beginning. I'll link the full playlist in the cards and the description, or at least go back one episode to the mythological Biunites episode, because I'm about to do the previously on the Book of Biunites thing, which is going to include colossal spoilers for the Book of Biunites and Multiverse Tales. And
yeah!
Most of the big stuff was revealed in that last episode. But getting into it now, so previously on the Book of Biunites, it was revealed that the
Oh, wait, hold on. Spoilers! If you didn't hear! Spoilers!
father-son narrator duo, Dai Inoue and Akaru Inoue, have been telling this whole story to Sterling and Geel from Multiverse Tales, who is stuck in the body of Chanel Fuego. The story they've been telling is of the month leading up to the launch of their new business, the Biunite Safari and Education Center, and how Akaru and his best friend Agama Knight had been secretly helping a boy that they thought was called Biomet Kyle to find the most powerful Biunite, the Elder Dragon Biunite Kahigona, so that Kyle could take a fragment of the dragon's power to fuel his weapon called a Biomech, which he had been pretending had its own personality and went by the name Charlie. In actuality, Kyle was just speaking through the machine himself and has said that it's simply a machine that was seeking power and found him because of his own immense power, which was revealed in the last episode to be incredibly similar to a certain Archon demon from Multiverse Tales. And it was also revealed that Biomet Kyle's real name is Rorik Eldrin. Some of this information was learned as Trayton.
We all pretty much now I'll say that the guy's human form is just Eldrorok's human form, which we do know the Archons can do, considering the Storm one in the fantasy world, and Kaiju Rex.
Fuego, Chanel Fuego's brother, who's a Protection Bureau officer, came into the room that the story was being told in and did a bit of narrating himself. So let's see how this group talks through the next chapter of the story as we get into it, shall we?
Let's go! Hit like if you want, subscribe if you feel like it. By the way, enjoy the show. Here we go. Starting off with a Pterosaurolophus.
Are you alright? You look... well, frankly, I am not certain if your expression is one of terror or excitement.
Yeah, I'm flipping through both a little bit here.
Good work, though, with the double image.
Rorik Eldrin. That kind of confirms a theory I'd been working out through this conversation, and from my weird experience getting into this body, or at least half of my theory anyway, I kind of already had a sense I was right about Eldrin from the description of his powers, which, just to clarify, are telekinesis, right? No, telepathic, because telekinesis is... oh. What crap. Oh, telekinesis, right.
I did not want to say anything, as the story was clearly quite distressing to tell, but yes, I believe Akaru meant that little rat bastard is
whoa! Dai is pissed off!
kinetic.
Whoa, Dad.
My apologies for the language, but I was not aware just
He's a pissed off Papa Bear.
How vile and despicable this filth was who was lying to you and Agama. The fact that I did not get a chance to bash his head in with Onitala is quite irksome to me now, having heard the truth of who he is and how he treated you.
But wait, Sterling, back up. Are you saying that you know Kyle, or Rorik? Look, let's get to the end of your story, because when I get into my story, that's gonna be a whole other thing, and
by 50-50 shot, I mean it's like 90-10.
I'll have a clearer picture of it myself after I hear what actually happened on the day of the Safari launch. And please don't be shy on the details. Things that might seem irrelevant to you could mean more on my end than you think.
Indeed. Well, I was personally unaware anything was the matter at the time. The morning of the event, our 3 international guests arrived early. Freya and Agama were most likely to be the two participants the camera crews intended to focus on most, given their big
would make
match a
sense.
month prior, but they were far from the only celebrities in attendance. As mentioned earlier, the other three were all part of the original biomech debacle with Bobby Blunt 5 years ago. The first was Australian champion Wallop Beaton, whose abilities focus on agility, and he has a tail and
Good to have you back, Wallop.
large feet, somewhat like a kangaroo. The second is British-turned-American fighter Chadwick Geigar, whose abilities are
Chad?
strength-based and include the power to create aura fists for enhanced impact. Finally, there is Geigar's now regular doubles tournament partner, Flamtatius Staphos, who is also more agility-based and can produce floating bars in the air to fling himself off of or to grab and
I just realized something. Flamtatius almost looks like he could be a member of the Beatles. Something about his face, his head, all of that just says he looks extremely familiar. But I also could not tell you from what exactly.
use as melee weapons. Those three arrived around the same time. Junko rose early that morning and joined me as I brought them to the cafeteria for coffee and refreshments. Flamtatius seemed as though he had already imbibed in a few coffees, but had 3 more dark roasts over the course of our chat.
Oh, that's a lot of coffee.
Die? You are just going to die when you see how hyped up all the Chunky and the staff fans are to watch my live stream today. And if things ever get boring, I promise Chunky or me will fill for time, but I know it won't because this place looks amazing. Also, I know
Yep, he's hyper.
Dad kind of sounds like he's doing some kind of gay stereotype voice, but I swear, that really is what Flamtasia sounds like.
Yeah.
Genuinely good impression, Dad.
Thank you. Anyhow, Junko had her Biunite Ahimonio present, and Flamtatius turned his attention to the creature.
Stop! Snakes are not supposed to be able to get this cute. Is he a little snake dinosaur Biunite? Because I am so ready to see some dinosaurs. I know they're not actually dinosaurs, they're Biunites, but they're basically dinosaurs. Snakes
Pretty
are kind of
much.
like dinosaurs too, right?
Junko, in common fashion, simply replied,
You're a lot to take in this early in the morning.
Yes, he is.
before I could scold her for being rude to our guests, Geigar said, "Yeah, thank you. I'd say you get used to it, but you really don't."
Oh, stop it, you love it, and you're just jelly that I'm making jet lag my whatch! Did he really say that, or are you filtering your swearing now?
Does huiach sound like the sort of term I would improvise or like something Flamtatius would say?
Flamtatious.
Right, yeah, fair. Okay, go on.
Wallop threw his arm over Flamtatius's shoulder and said,
You do you, Flemmy boy. If we ain't high energy, Freya and the new world champ are gonna get all the screen time. I'm itching to see some dinosaur Biunites too. Was actually researching some of those ones on the flight over here. Huh, not really getting the Australian accent the way you got Geiger's, are you?
"No, that is true. It is surprisingly difficult."
Huh. It's sort of ironic that they were both so excited to see the dinosaur Biunites, given the Hekelimu region of the park is where everything went down.
Indeed,
yeah.
Drayton. In a sense, they essentially and unintentionally anticipated that reaching the dinosaur Biunites would prompt the most interesting events of the day.
Like they somehow could know it was gonna happen. Knew it was gonna happen.
The morning was rather busy getting things
This is actually one of my favorites. And then Kylosaurus.
ready prior to the press arriving.
Well, my top
Anytime
three.
I saw Akaru, he seemed quite focused on his work. Frankly, you did seem stressed, but I simply assumed it was due to the pressure of the launch. You were working quite diligently, given all you had gone through with Rorik.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted the launch to go well, and honestly, I was kind of just trying to keep my mind off of him and how Augie was acting. When Augie arrived, it was pretty obvious he wasn't his usual self. Even in his early interviews, one of the press people lowered the camera and asked him, "Are you alright? Do you want us to try and take this again later?" He replied, just saying, "I'm fine, I'm just kinda tired." I know it doesn't sound like much, but it was the saddest thing I'd ever heard from him.
That he was
I knew
tired?
he was just trying so hard to not say anything about Kyle.
Oh,
Rorik.
right.
I'm just gonna call him Kyle. I didn't know his name at the time.
Anyway, I got a sec to pull Augie away and asked him, "Are you sure you can do this? We've got a bunch of other big names here.
Yeah,
The
man.
launch is
You
still
can take
gonna
a
get a
break."
lot of press if you can't handle this right now." It was so weird having to, like, help Augie. He's just always so excited and happy about everything. Augie said, "No, I want to stay. I want the launch to be as big as it can be. I'm a bit tired." He said it again, and I don't know what it was about that phrase, but coming out of Augie, it just made me hate Kyle even more. I was mad that he lied to me, but even more mad that he lied to Augie, who
Yeah.
clearly hadn't picked up on the lying at all. I had kind of felt like something was wrong, but
You had a
Augie
gut
was way
feeling.
more blindsided than I was. Then I was getting mad thinking about how Kyle might really be listening if the biomech was amplifying his hearing, because he'd said he'd heard more than we thought.
Akaru.
Go on.
What is
Come
it?
on, Akaru.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I was gonna tell you this part, but when I saw Augie was so bummed, I grabbed him and pulled him farther away from everyone else so I could talk to him a bit louder about Kyle. See, I kind of wanted to give Augie some kind of great pep talk like he would for me or
Oh.
for anyone else,
Oh, boy.
but it just felt like I was forcing it. I didn't know what to say, but I did get an idea that sort of got stuck in my head, one that I was pretty sure would help Augie, and it felt like my gut was telling me what to do.
Oh, boy.
And
What
a
did
whole
you
bunch
say?
of reasons not to do it came to mind pretty quick, but not listening to my gut with Kyle had gotten us in trouble, so maybe listening to my gut could get us out of trouble or fix things. So, speaking kind of loud, I said to Augie, "If you're worried Kyle might show up today, don't be. Even he isn't stupid enough to show himself during the tour with you, Freya, and some of the world's best fighters around."
Oh, crap. You will egg it on Kyle by accident. Oh, crap.
Augie just looked sadder and said, "I don't think we can call him stupid. He did trick us for a long time." I grabbed Augie and looked him in the eyes. Whatever,
insult.
he's just a big,
Not a quality.
stupid loser who knows that he's nowhere near powerful enough to take on you, Freya, and the rest of these guys. He'd get completely trounced. He'd be way too chicken to show himself today.
Oh, boy.
And, it took Augie a sec to get what I was doing, but... Akaru, are you seriously saying that you were hoping he was listening? You intentionally lured a psychotic maniac to attack us? Well, I don't know if it was actually me that got him to show up. Maybe he didn't hear us at all, and he was just gonna do that anyway. I wanted Augie to have another shot at Kyle
All in all, this is trouble.
with backup, and when he knew what he was up against, so
I think it was a brilliant idea, son. Who is more primed to defeat someone wielding a biomech than the beings who did so publicly 5 years prior?
Oh.
Are you serious? We could have all
But
been
still.
killed. Freya and the others are athletes, entertainers, people who fight with chips on them so that they can't take any lethal damage. That's what they're used to. They're not trained Protection Bureau officers.
I am aware and I don't care. I'm sorry
Oh,
for
damn.
how Freya was impacted, but I'm glad that little vermin was lured out of his hole. He deserves to have the whole world on the lookout for him to face justice for what he's done. Go on, Akaru.
Okay, so yeah, Augie finally caught on and his frown reversed real quick. He started laughing and said, Yeah, you're right. Someone who lies like him to hide who he is way too big of a dumb coward to come
Oh,
out today.
boy.
He knows we'd all totally thump him. It was weird hearing Augie intentionally insult someone, but honestly felt really
This was risky as all hell, boys.
good getting to help Augie get his mood up for once, since he's done that for me so many times before. But yeah, it may have also been the thing that led to the chaos that went down.
Yeah, frickin' sounds like it. Akaru, what were you thinking, boy?
Quick interruption here, cause geez, Pop, you got another book out already? I lined up more nice reviews from the Design Notes Art and Advice book for today. I thought we
Oh,
was
that's
gonna
nice.
still advertise that. Well, we totally can, because it's actually on sale for a discounted price right now, along with all of my other books that are up on Amazon to celebrate the launch of the Gone Grim art book, which is my least expensive book to put up so far. Oh, well,
Neat.
great then. I mean, first off, thank you so much to Jennifer Fisher,
Dalton Bien, and Bijan Hakimian for their 5-star reviews on the Design Notes art book. And if you're looking for some spookier art and some cool recolorings,
It is
including
awesome.
even some grim-looking Biunites and an alternate color scheme a little drawer here, you might want to go grab the Gone Grim art book. There's even a lovely piece of art in there of spooky champagne. And I show up myself twice in the book, along with some recolored mech armors of mine. That book specifically,
Nice.
and Pop's Amazon bookstore and his Blurb bookstore, is all linked in the description. Now back into the episode.
I kind of like that.
Freya, Chanel
Ooh,
Carter,
a Tyrannosaurus.
Kaya, and of course Trayton here all arrived closer to the commencement of the event. Conversations were had, we filmed the events of them being toured through the education center building, and everything was going incredibly smoothly. I was interviewed myself and had the opportunity to share my own experience with Biunites, going from working
yes.
in the Bond band department at Averett to eventually denounce the bands and make a natural bond with Onatala, thanks to young Agama's encouragement.
I remember that.
I was busy keeping things moving
was a
along,
good
so
video.
I didn't have many conversations with the guests once the tour was underway. Though, after we got into the safari bus and were taken around to the first few sectors, we stepped out for the walking tour portion of the Kolosect region, and I
Ooh.
did have an interesting conversation with Freya.
Why are you getting all sketchy, Dad?
Oh, yeah?
Well, it is simply that,
Oh, I get it. It's fine, Di. You can say it. Just nobody share it outside this room for a bit.
Oh, is Freya pregnant?
certainly Trayton.
I do remember hearing talk about on how once she would finally lose the world champion title, that she and Trenton were going to try and start a family.
You see, I noticed that Freya had stepped aside and was looking somewhat nauseous. I asked if everything was all right, and, well, I suppose congratulations are in order to you and Freya, Trayton.
Congratulations.
What? Ms. Sparks is pregnant already?
Yeah, happened basically immediately after the tournament.
Do you guys know
Ayo.
what you're gonna name it?
Akaru, I imagine it is a bit early for that.
Actually, funny you ask, because Freya was saying on the trip over here, Carter might have given her an idea for if it's a girl. Oh, what was it? It was like
Ooh.
some term from Hinduism or Hindu mythology. Okay, Trayton, I'm really
What,
gonna
like
need you to think
Shiva?
about this. What specifically was the term? Did she say?
All right, Sterling, let me think. So Carter, he's not a vigilance fighter these days, but he does have the ability to activate a ton of different powers through these things called the Shakti K card.
It
Different
is
cards
cool.
activate different powers for him, and he was all excited because he just swapped some of the cards he has with ones that his cousin has. A bunch of
Oh,
people in his
cool.
family have the same power, so they share cards. The card that he was most excited about was one that gives him really intense lightning powers. He was saying how he wanted to see if he could use those powers to power up Freya even more. He said the lightning that
Oh.
the card let him produce seemed pretty similar to what the Sparking Bird Biunite had used during the Vigilance League World Championships, that had accidentally powered up Freya even more in their fight. Freya had compared the art
Oh yeah, I kind of remember that. It's been a while, but I remember.
on the card to Zeus's thunderbolt, like in Greek myths. And that got Carter into talking about some Hindu lightning god and then some other Hinduism stories, and I don't know. She might not have said the term to me, or I just forgot. You're gonna have to ask her.
Okay, putting a pin in that then.
Pin in that?
So you found out Freya was pregnant. Then what happened?
Well, as I said, everything was going smoothly. I had some brief other conversations, but none really of note. Akaru?
Nope, I don't think I really had any more chats of note either. I mean, Augie and I
I don't got nothing.
may have taken a few more opportunities to step aside and say some insulting stuff about Kyle to each other in case he was listening.
Oh boy.
But nothing really important until we got to the Hekilimu region. That's where
Ah.
everything really went
The
nuts.
dinosaurs.
Everyone was still having a good time, just having fun, and the bus was getting us into the dinosaur Biunite territory when we heard this terrible roar. I could tell it was Moi Tyrana from the sound, the dinosaur king
Boy Tyranno? Huh, so that's the name of it.
Biunite, but it sounded bad, not like mighty and powerful like he usually sounds.
The bus halted, but there was little more than some distance between us and the chaos ahead. We could make out that there was a figure in the middle of the road with an outcropping of rocks on one side of him and trees on the other. He seemed to be wrestling with Moitai, but it was far enough away to not be entirely clear what was transpiring.
Someone was
What
fighting?
was apparent was that other dinosaur Biunites had come to the king's aid. I leapt from the vehicle and merged with Onatala to run ahead, obviously quite confused and distressed. I had hoped this would be something I could quickly handle on my own, but
in
of
reality,
course the drama-hungry news crews followed close behind, as did the rest of our tour patrons.
oh boy. Of course, this is where he makes his appearance. Kyle has returned.
As we were approaching, Kyle was yelling out to the
It's called a Yiki.
sky. Come on, Kahikona, you're really gonna let me kill your precious left hand or whatever this dumb lizard is? You better come and stop me.
Oh crap, it is
Augie
Kyle.
and I merged with Hodera and Hopalima too. I knew I wasn't a fighter on the level of the rest of these guys, but I really wanted to take a swing at Kyle if I got a chance for that stupid barking thing.
We got close and, well, I suppose most of us were quite alarmed, though I'm curious what your reaction was, Trayton, given you knew the biomech was missing and you clearly knew who this Rorik boy was.
I mean, I was horrified seeing the biomech, but I couldn't recognize Rorik at just a glance, especially not with whatever was going on with his face. Yeah, that freaked me out too. I don't know if he'd been absorbing powers from a bunch of other Biunites since we'd last seen him or what, but he had red veins going through him and his skin was getting all blotchy and dark and weird. He looked insane. And the biomech
yeah.
had dozens of tendrils shooting out of it and pinning down Moitai. He's a pretty chunky 5-foot-tall Biunite, but the mech had him pinned easy. Yikiulia, the sparking batbird Biunite, was flying around shooting
The
lightning
sparking Batbud? So that's what this is.
at him, but he just, I don't know, was using the biomech to ground the electricity through him, so it wasn't doing anything. That made me a bit nervous that Freya's powers might not work very well on him either. Walahadra, the bellowing breath Biunite, was there trying to help the king too, and was clearly getting on Kyle's nerves. It was shooting sound cannons at him. It sucks
Good luck.
air in through its tail and shoots out sonic shockwaves from its mouth.
Oh, it's like a whistle.
Kind of sound like a saxophone. It usually just uses that for music, but it can use it to fight too when it needs to. Unfortunately, Kyle just
cool.
used his telekinesis to pick up a super heavy Biunite nearby, Makahehe, the timid hammer Biunite, and hurled him at Walahadra.
Being
The two
Kylosaurus.
collided and flew off into the trees, and it looked like it hurt, but I was pretty distracted by everyone else's reaction to seeing the biomech again. Gygar yelled,
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Ain't that Bobby Blunt's crazy weapon thing?
"Stop it, this is wild. Is this part of the tour? Because I did not expect that our reunion with this pretty party of pals was going to involve bringing everyone back from that day."
Yeah, if I was there, I would say, hey, this was not part of the tour!
Is that zombie Bobby Blunt? Because I'm not sure I can emotionally handle that right now.
Just as alarmed and confused as the others, I emphatically asserted,
This was certainly not planned. Everyone get back. Trayton, how fast can you get Protection Bureau officers here?
Then Rorik yelled,
Yeah, bring the Bureau in. Bring everyone you want. Even if I didn't have the biomech, I could take you all on. I'm not just some sports sideshow or some animal wrangler like the rest of you. I have real power.
Before
Crap.
Kyle even finished what he was saying, Augie was shooting in towards him on an ice ramp. I tried running after him, but Junko grabbed me, saying I was nuts. Augie shot a bunch of ice daggers at Kyle as he was moving, aiming at his legs, because I guess even Augie wasn't mad enough to go for a kill shot. But Kyle just, tensed his body, and a red shockwave blasted all of the daggers off course. I'm
Damn
pretty
it.
sure I heard Kyle say,
I told you I don't give second warnings, Agama.
He threw his arm up towards Augie, and more red orbs came off his hands, but way more than before.
Oh.
I don't even
You
know
gained
if he
some
was
power.
fully in control of his powers at that point, because he looked surprised when Augie was hurled backwards. I thought he was going to try and catch Augie and break his neck or something, but Augie flew back, and luckily Freya managed to catch him. She looked
Thank
way
you,
more
Freya.
calm than I would have expected. least at first. Oh, but I guess since she's married to you, Trayton, you'd probably told her that the biomech had gone missing, right?
Yeah, she knew it was missing and new officers of ours had secretly come to the safari looking for it, but because of Rorik imitating their voices over the phone and giving us updates, we thought they'd covertly cleared the sector and left.
In reality, no,
Still,
they were
Freya
dead.
at least had some warning that the biomech could pop up at some point in the future and was somewhat emotionally prepared for that.
Right, makes sense. So, yeah, she set Augie on his feet and her whole body lit up in purple electricity. She said, "Whatever's going on, we beat Blunt when he had 2 of those things, so we can beat some psycho with 1 of them." I guess history's just about to repeat itself.
Uh-oh.
She looked like something had distracted her for a sec while she said that,
going
but
on?
she snapped out of it pretty quick and looked back at Carter. He'd already slapped on his new Shakti K card and activated his lightning powers. Ms. Sparks nodded at him and he said, "All right, lighting you up, Freya." She got another weird look on her face when he said that, but then he zapped her and it was pretty obvious she was getting really powered up.
You know, I wonder if she was partly concerned with her being pregnant and all. I mean, I know she's only like a month pregnant, but if it's her first child, which it clearly is, she of course would be nervous. I mean, hell, a lot of people are when it's their first kid.
Like, a lot. I even looked back at Kyle and noticed that the biomech was sort of wriggling on him and had one of its tendrils aimed at Freya with a lens on the end, like it was staring at her. I think it was sensing how powered up she was getting. Like, maybe her powers were getting beyond Kyle's. When Carter was done amping up Freya, she looked like she was practically floating. She was shaking, but kind of laughing too, like she was really excited about how powered up she'd just gotten.
That's
I
a
wasn't
lot
even
of
that
power.
close, but I could feel the power coming off her. But then, like I did for a sec, she got distracted by what Chanel was saying. Chanel looked like she was talking to herself, but I guess we know now she was actually talking to you, Sterling. She said,
Oh! Wait, so was this happening at the exact same time as the prologue of Pantheon Reapers? Damn, we finally got an overlay.
something
I
like,
think-
"I'm really sorry. Usually when I borrow powers from someone, they're asleep, but I really do need the help. I think my friends might be in a life-threatening situation here." Chanel's hands were kind of flashing with fire, and it looked like there was some kind of metal starting to come out of her skin. And when
Yep, this is an overlay.
Freya saw that, she froze up even more. Carter asked if she was good, and that seemed to snap her out of it, but there was clearly something up with her. She teleported over to Kyle and said, "Give that machine up now or I'll have to take it from you."
Your arrogance doesn't intimidate me, Sparks. I've always wanted to prove I could beat the so-called world's best fighter.
He tried to aim his
Second
hand
best.
at her,
She was
but she
dethroned.
teleported away before he'd barely even moved. She pounded him in the back of the head, and he whipped around, but she was gone in an instant. I guess Carter's power-up for Freya meant that she could teleport at way faster intervals than before, because she teleported around Kyle, punching him over and over again from every angle.
Keep it up.
Pretty
Keep it up.
satisfying to watch, to be honest. Kyle couldn't do anything, and the biomech had unlatched from Muay Thai Rana, and seemed like it was actually loosening off of Kyle, too. Ms. Sparks must have noticed that because she teleported behind him, grabbed the biomech, and kicked Kyle in the side like she was trying to pull it off him. It started latching onto her, though, so she tried teleporting away, closer to the rest of us. And the biomech came with her.
Oh, crap.
She
Wait.
tried pulling
Wait,
the
hold on.
biomech off, but it crawled onto her chest and back. Then 2 tendrils shot out of her back and stomped into the ground, raising her into the air. Kyle's face was still all
And now she is definitely looking exactly like Tulsa then.
veiny and
Holy
weird and
crap.
splotchy, and red orbs were just popping off him, and he was so mad.
No, 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 no! Give it back! Give my power back!
Freya looked like she was in pain, or I don't know, like she was losing her mind. I didn't know how I could help. It seemed like none of us did, but then a multicolored light kind of drew my eyes up to the sky, and I saw that Kahigona's
Kaidronella.
right hand had appeared above us, like she was there to help. Her red, purple, and yellow wings were glowing in a way that they hadn't been when we'd seen her before.
Yes,
Even
yes.
with Freya scrambling to try and get the biomech off, she looked up at Kaidronella and I don't know why, but she said, "I remember this." That was
Wait,
the last thing I heard
what?
before everything went really nuts.
What the hell do you mean you remember it?
Before Kahigona finally arrived.
What the hell does she mean she remembers it? And Kahigona just appeared. Holy crap, this is massive as all hell. I'm freaking out.
Well, I sure hope that's got you hyped up for the finale of this series coming
Yes!
2 weeks from today. And I know the main focus of today was really the story, but I feel like I crushed it with the art today. Those
Damn
are some
right.
crisp-looking Biunites, and that actually kind of leads us into the positive or inspiring end note, which is actually related to something that's happened in Mytholethal Pantheon Reapers and will be covered more in that story, and that is the idea of consciously choosing to take on some kind of arrogant persona to help you when tackling a difficult problem or situation. Going into this episode, because I knew I cared more about the story, but I really wanted the art to be really good as well, in my morning meditation before going into the first drawing, I repeated to myself and got myself into the persona of someone who believed they were the greatest character designer on the planet.
Being
Not
the
to try and
best of the
convince
best.
myself that I'm actually better than every other character designer out there, but that so when I sat down and started into the drawings, I wasn't concerned about whether good ideas were going to come to me, and I wasn't concerned about challenges coming up because I was going into it believing that I was the best character designer on the planet.
It's all
Highly
good.
recommend giving it a try. I hope it's inspiring or helpful. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video on Monday for the community redraw. In a similar format to my goofy unhinged demon episode from Monday. I'll see you there.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Alright, everyone, that's going to be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see you next time when we flick back on. Till then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.